Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Rob and I talk about high-end collectible comics and comics art. Subscribe if that's your kind of thing. Let's talk about comics, and I post 1 or 2 videos a week doing just that. This video, I'm returning to my deep dive into the existence and grades of major keys in the Silver Age, the biggest Silver Age pedigrees. Up next is Avengers #1. The Avengers continue to be a big deal. As an overview, there's a curator copy, a Don Maggie Thompson copy, a John G. Fantuccio copy, a mass copy, a copy from the Northland pedigree, a Susha News copy, and a Pacific Coast copy. I have been looking around, I've been researching a little bit, and I'm surprised because there is a White Mountain copy of Avengers #4, so I can't believe that there's not a copy of #1. It just seems weird to me, but I can't find it, so who knows. White Mountain is tough sometimes because the books went, some of them were in auction, some of them just went out through Jerry. Who knows? If you know anything about the Avengers #1 White Mountain copy, please let me know. I'll be excited to talk about it. I will totally talk about it in a short, and if you want me to plug whatever you do selling comics, whatever, I will. I will shout you out. Anyway, that mystery aside, let's get started. Avengers #1 CGC 9.4 Curator Pedigree. I have no scan. It's listed on the CGC site as existing when they talk about the Curator Pedigree. So here it is, but I don't have a scan. If you do know anything about this book, who owns it, have a scan of it, whatever, let me know. It'd be awesome because it's a great book. I mean, it's got to be. Avengers #1 CGC 9.4 Don Maggie Thompson copy, off-white white. Here are the grader's notes. There are a lot of notes on this 9.4. To me, the book actually looks like, one of those kind of coin flip 9.3s. It's got nice preservation, but there are a lot of little dings, and you can see the wear across the top. What do they call it? Full front top cover, light wear, breaks color. You can see it, and I'll show you in a second. It's got excellent preservation in colors, but structurally it looks like kind of a soft 9.4. So it's like one of those books. It's like 9.3, and they're like, it's a 9.4 because they were feeling generous that day. I don't know. I mean, I love the book. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely got beautiful preservation, but it is there are some things that I don't like about it. And as you can see, if you're on, maybe not on your phone, but if you're like looking at this on a laptop or on your TV or whatever, you should be able to see the wear across the top, which is not insignificant. So this book sold for $89,625 on November 21st, 2013 at Heritage. Avengers #1 John G. Fantuccio, CGC 8.0, white pages. This one, nothing out of the ordinary for grader's notes in terms of an 8.0. It's a nice looking book. And as you can see, maybe, again, if you're on your phone, you might not be able to read it, but if you are on a laptop or TV, you will be able to see that I bid on this item at Comic Link. I don't remember what I bid, and that email is long gone. But this is a really attractive copy of this book to me. It's not like a main title I collected, but it is a title I collected, and so like an 8.0 would have been what I would have been targeting. And I would have put in a legit bid. The thing is, it went for like 2 times what a non-pedigree copy would have gone for at the time, so it didn't go home with me. But I could have seen myself putting like a $10,000 or $12,000 bid on this. It went for $18,027, which would actually be like a pretty good result now for an 8.0. Maybe not a pedigree copy, but I mean, it was a strong result. Avengers #1 CGC 8.5 mass copy. I have no idea how I know about this book. I suspect it may have been a bunch of the mass copies were graded early and sold, so it may have been from then. But I couldn't find it in any of the catalogs I have from kind of like the 2001 era. I'll have to look again at some point. This video's out the door, but I do look through those catalogs for different reasons from time to time, and so maybe I'll find it there. But I couldn't find it in prepping this video. So this book is a mystery. Again, if you know anything about it, let me know, and I will shout you out. Avengers number 1 at CGC 9.4 Northland, white pages. Here are the graders' notes. Again, there are some notes on this book, but if you zoom in, it's on Heritage and you can look at it microscopically. It's pretty solid relative to the Don Maggie Thompson copy, which illustrates the fact that you have to evaluate the book itself, even when the number is the same, and when the graders' notes kind of feel similar, like you look and you see that there's 3 or 4, and they mention Marvel chipping and whatever. The books can be different, so you really have to take a look at them. And looking at this one, personally, I think it's a nicer copy, the nicer copy of the 294s. This book had sold 3 times in GPA. Doug sold it, Pedigree Comics, sold it for $185,000 in the fall of 2012. A giant sad trombone played when it sold for $95,600 a few months later. That sale for $185,000 was aggressive. It was more than half of what Doug had sold the Pacific Coast copy, which we're going to talk about. It was more than half of what the Pacific Coast 9.6 had sold for, so it was a really aggressive price. This is not a great result, even for the time, and it was certainly not a great result against a $185,000 previous sale. But, it happens. If any fan of the channel knows, this stuff happens. Positive stuff happens too, and I like to point that out. But, sometimes you get these bad ones. And then it sold for $120,000 just over 2 years ago. And this is one of those situations where somebody had this awesome book for 10 years, and they got a lot of joy out of owning it. And then they made a couple of bucks when they sold it. Not a bad deal. It's not a great result, I don't think, $120,000 for this book. A 9.6 sold for $430,000 last year, so realistically a 9.4 should be over $200,000 easy. The sales record for Avengers number 1 in 9.4 is more sparse than I would have expected. I had no idea. I kind of thought they sold more often. There are 9 sales in 9.4, including pedigrees, and 6 sales in 9.6. That's in the total 25 plus years of GPA data. I'm reminded with that I need to get off my butt and do the census analysis, that video I just posted last week. I need to do the Silver Age version of that, which will give us some insight on the population of these books. Avengers number 1, CGC 9.6 Pacific Coast copy, off-white, white, gorgeous book. No graders notes because there shouldn't be for a 9.6. 9.4, it's not perfect. That's why it's 9.4. 9.6, you shouldn't see much, and you don't see anything here. Part of Doug's big sale through Heritage in 2012, $274,850 on July 26, 2012. It's at least doubled in value since, I think. This is always weird to me. Signature Series Pedigree books, strange. Avengers number 1, Susha News Pedigree, CGC 5.5, signed by Stan Lee and Dick Ayers. No notes, which is not helpful because there is going to be some damage on this book because it is a 5.5. It sold 3 times. It sold in 2010 for $1,300. It sold in 2011, again in a blue holder, for $1,800, $1,802 specifically. And in 2015, it sold to presumably its present owner as a signature series book for $4,995. Avengers number 1 at CGC 8.5, off-white, white, Rocky Mountain pedigree. Graders notes, pretty standard for an 8.5. I'm not sure what it sold for originally because it's Comic Link and who knows. Sometimes you can find the listings and sometimes you can't. But it sold for $36,000 in 2021, which is a strong but not crazy price. Avengers number 1, CGC 8.5, Twin Cities pedigree, off-white pages. Again, kind of normal grader's note for an 8.5. And it's a nice looking book. I think it's got great preservation. Really bright reds, which I love on this book. It sold 3 times. So in 2011, it sold for $11,950. In 2012, it sold for $11,708. And in 2013, somebody made out and it sold for $17,750. And there you have it. It was a quick run through Avengers number 1. I'm leaving you, of course, as I often do, I'm leaving you with the best copy, the Pacific Coast 9.6. I'm going to keep poking around to see if I can find record of that White Mountain copy. because I just know it exists. Maybe it doesn't, but I mean, I just feel like it should exist. And again, if you know anything about the White Mountain Avengers #1, hit me up. I would love to hear about it. Next up on the channel, I'll be dropping a video for one of my favorite books in the hobby. It's kind of going to be a series talking about my favorite books in the hobby. And then I'll have to take a look at the upcoming Comic Connect event auction, which I believe opens a week from yesterday as I record this. It's the 13th of May, 2025, and I believe it opens on May 19th, 2025. So that'll be fun. That's always fun, and there's actually some really good stuff in that auction. So thanks. If you haven't yet, like, subscribe, share with your friends. I love all that stuff. It helps the channel out greatly. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.